Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous Aquariuses. By popular demand, I've had um, so many of you reach out wanting to know where's my soulmate reading right now, right here. So we are doing a special reading. If you've been wondering, like, is there a soulmate? Is there an opportunity for you and your soulmate to come together? And when I say come together, it could just be meeting, um, conversations being had, you know what I mean? But then there will be that recognition. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm going straight to our spirit guides and I'm asking six specific questions. Um, and we're going to use quite a few decks to go through that. So while I am talking, I'm going to shuffle. So this is going to be for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided, and I thank you for paying attention to your intuition. These are the major arcanas. We'll be using these in the reading in a second. Mother Mary will open up the reading. But I also want to say some of you could certainly be in love with an Aquarius. And if you're here for that reason, just know that your guides know that and they will get messages to you also. So this should be an exciting reading. So what I'm looking for again is soulmates who are coming together or meeting. And then, what I'm looking for is your long lasting soulmate. We have many different soulmates, different levels to love. But I want to know, where is your forever person? Let's call it that. Okay. Let's do the crystal vision. And then we shall open up the tarot portion. What else was I going to tell you? I don't know. Excuse me one second. Okay, I'm back. I got a knock at my door. Come and knock at my door. Oh, look at that. So, Archangel Raphael somehow got mixed up in Mother Mary, which is quite interesting because I use Mother Mary every single day. So, this must be a special message for you. And what a message! Jesus, the divine healer. Dear Jesus, thank you for your divine healing power and presence. So somehow this made it into the deck. And at our table, I don't think anything is an accident. I think it was meant to happen. So I'm going to leave that out. Um, but let's go ahead and let's open up the reading. I'm going to bring the lid down a little bit. And let's start with Mother Mary. The questions I'm going to ask, by the way, number one, your soulmate's subconscious thought of you right now. And I say subconscious because some of you haven't met yet in this lifetime. But you're always connected. Like you're always, and you always will be, you're soul connected. All right. Wow. I mean, Jesus and now God. Aquarius. I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me and this situation. You know what I'm feeling? And by the way, this is how I read. I go more by feelings than, but they're channeling really. Um, I feel like what this is saying is for those who may have fear to love again, you have free will. Your spirit guides can't make you love someone, but they can certainly put them in front of you and you in front of them. So I feel like this is actually a very good omen. It's like just stepping out of the way. It reminds me of like going with the flow, putting positive intentions out there, and then watch them come back. Again, positive intentions. I expect good things to happen, and they do. So, Jesus and God, well, thank you for gracing our table. Okay, let's get into the questions. And number one, your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you right now. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I said we're going to use the Universal Tarot to answer the questions, and then the Crystal Vision and the Gilded Tarot to kind of clarify, I guess. Three of Pentacles. I have to tell you, I love the Three of Pentacles as it relates to love. Because the Three of Pentacles in that fashion talks about your individuality and being appreciated for that. To me, this means someone will see the true you and you will see the true them. No need for mask. Like this is telling you, be you. Be you. Of course, have some control. And often I feel this talks about a potential, like I want to say a secret admirer. But again, soulmate. We'll see what comes above it. We have interesting 2 3s. The Three of Cups. Well, that is all about joy and celebration. That is actually the meaning of the card, rejoice in celebration. 33. Every time I see 33, I think of master number 33. And even if you don't have a master number 33, it may talk about that your soul is here to master something. And it may be love, since we're doing a love reading. All right. Interesting. 5 of Cups. It's like I'm missing. This feeling of missing someone. The 5 of Cups speaks about where your focus is at, but this is where their focus is at. And this is on the cups that have been knocked over. I know what this is. I feel it. This, to me, is talking about this person where you could probably say the same thing, has had relationships in the past, but has not found true fulfillment. They haven't found you. But when this person, because it is a 5, so it's asking for change. So, this person could be like thinking of love and I just keep getting hurt, that type of thing. But I also want to say, because it's a 5 and it's talking about change, well, this would be the perfect time for change. And what's behind this person? 2 Cups, soulmate. They just merely need to turn around. They need to believe that it is possible. And I feel like, and I have a feeling that you're both feeling the same thing. Like, yes, I've loved, but that ultimate fulfillment, I haven't found it yet. Get ready. I just have a feeling. Get ready. Okay, so now we're going to reverse that question and your subconscious or conscious thoughts on them, on your soulmate. I'm saying soulmate. It can also be twin flame with a chariot. Unlimited potential. I feel like what this is saying is a lot of you are ready. And what I mean by that, because the chariot requires balance to become that unlimited potential. And it really is the balance of the feminine and the masculine. That's probably why I just included twin flames. This often reminds me of twin flames. Now, I'm not saying everyone's in a twin flame relationship, and nor should you seek it. You know, if it's going to happen in your lifetime, it's going to happen. Um, but I love this for you. I love the way you're thinking, and it feels to me like this didn't come overnight. You know, who knows? Maybe you have been praying for clarity, for true love. And if that's the case, I feel like the message back to us would be, are you ready? Are you balanced? And this is telling me, yes, I feel like you are. And I love the energy of the unlimited potential of love. I'm not looking for any old love. Again, I'm looking for love that's going to hopefully remain with you for the rest of your lives. This is also a card of Cancer. Let's go above. The Seven of Cups. It's like you're questioning when. Look at this, the Fool, a new beginning. So, when? Soon? And let me clarify that I am looking for this love, these soulmate unions or introduction to each other for 2025. I'm not looking ahead. And I'm very clear with my guys, like I'm looking for soon. There's only a couple months left. So how beautiful, the Fool. When I just said that the Chariot, I feel like many of you have, like, you're feeling more balanced in your own life. Well, it makes sense that the Fool would then show up. It's about taking a leap of faith. The Fool is about a new beginning. And I'm hoping. It's interesting because this person is looking at the Fool. So I feel like someone right now may be in a little bit of, well, trying to figure things out, in their own life. But I do feel like why can't I feel fulfilled in love? And I'm not talking again that you did not love or they didn't love, but this is different. It just is. So it does make me feel like, oops, sorry, that they're not living in the past anymore. The Fool recognizes what or the journey that the Fool's been through. The Fool understands that things do come to completion, like relationships that just maybe weren't meant forever, that there is a completion date. But then remember, when there's a completion, there's something new that's going to begin. And it's interesting. Well, we have double Cancer right there, by the way. I was going to say it's interesting because we do have in the Seven of Cups, we are questioning. Um, but I feel like that question is going to be answered very soon. So, this may be someone who is about to come in because it looks like you are ultimately making that decision of yay or nay. But I feel like you're going to say yay because the Fool is here. And another thing I want to say, when you see the Fool, understand that it really is important that we do put the past behind us, right? Extract the wisdom. But, let's say, which many of us have, got stuck with a cheater or what have you. We don't want to assume that the next person is going to be that, right? And if we still have that fear, the best thing to do is take it slow. because people will reveal who they are to you. It's when we rush it sometimes. But listen, I'm not even worried about that here. Hmm. All right. So let's look at 2025's potential of you meeting, coming together, whatever we want to say. We have the Eight of Cups, a new beginning. Interesting. The Five of Pentacles. I know exactly why that's here. And then we have the Four of Swords. That's kind of beautiful. And I have to tell you, the Four Swords is healing. But I don't feel like it's just for you. I feel like them also, because I do feel like, I don't know. Like, I want to say they may be in a state of confusion. However, I feel like if they're really honest with themselves, they can figure this out pretty quickly. Oftentimes in the Five of Cups or even the Five of Pentacles, there could be energy that we have found ourselves attracted to over and over again, to the point where we have to start looking at our own energy. Like, why do I keep attracting the same type of person? You know what I mean? So, looking within one's own energy, putting the past in the past, allowing this healing process to take place. And by the way, I feel like soulmates, if there's any broken pieces, we help heal each other. I feel like somebody definitely went through some type of a tower moment. Well, but in a way, I kind of feel it's more about, I'm going to say, giving the tower. But really, what I feel is someone is making a change. And it's someone who's not really comfortable with making change, but they're doing it anyway. And then you look at the Eight of Cups. Well, that is about emotional release. That's exactly what I was feeling this person needed to do, right? Look at, like, the cups have been knocked over, evaluate them, but don't overthink it. Sometimes, love has been about lessons, especially as it relates to soulmates and twin flames. Often, and I've been reading tarot for over 20 years, and I find this often that once we start to have these realizations, it's really seeking spiritual guidance, but then finding it, we start to realize that for us to have these new beginnings, we do have to let go of what was because it's no longer serving anyone. You're both kind of sharing this energy. So I love the eight, a new beginning, also the number of infinity, as above, so below, no beginning, no end. And let me add one more thing, because I feel like when people watch love readings, they always assume it's for the young. Well, I don't feel that. I mean, it can be for, I feel like it's for all ages. But I definitely feel that there's been some time. So I can't assume they're too young. Because I feel like there's been certain life lessons that's helping them and you really to bring yourself to the present moment. There's a lot of energy that's, number one, asking for change, but this change is the things that are no longer serving you. The people, the love that is just no longer loving. You know what I mean? And even though the five of Pentacles is temporarily difficult energy, the one thing I feel with the Five of Pentacles is as I'm moving through this energy, again, temporarily can be difficult. But that's just for those who may have a harder time with change. But this, to me, is moving you closer and closer to soulmate energy. What was and what will be are different. All right, well, let's keep going. Did we love here or in a past life? Now, I keep saying I'm going to reword that question because, well, let's just see what we get. Huh. Time after time, time after time. This is destiny. It's another chance. It's another life. It's another life to love again. Each other. Have you lived in past lives? Yes. You know, sometimes we come back into the next lifetime, maybe to complete something that wasn't able to be completed. You know, like in a past life, like I'm thinking of my last past life reading I did. There were definitely two soulmates in there, but there were situations that, you know, they were together, but secretly. Well, in this lifetime, there's no secret. You know what I mean? It's like we can be. And I feel like that's why the Three of Pentacles is the very first card. We can be ourselves. And that's what's appreciated. You know, it's those things that we think about ourselves that other people just won't like. But you know what I find with soulmates? The things that we may not like about ourselves are the things that they may say, I think that's adorable. Ah, first of all, your major arcana, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. This is about manifesting them. You know, I feel like some of you have gone through some difficult changes, but I feel if you're not already feeling the blessings that these changes can bring, then you soon will. How do you like that? Your major arcana connected to destiny. And then the Two of Wands. Here we go. Here we go. This is taking a step on the path. You know, I feel like in the Two of Wands, number one, it's not really a fear, well, it's not a fear-based energy. This is someone who is following something that they feel passionate about, you know, and looking at it as an adventure. I also feel that sometimes we got to be okay with, even though I already feel like I know the answer to this, but sometimes we got to be okay with, you know, I don't know what where our ultimate destination will lead, but that's because you're writing it as you go. Like every moment, every decision. And if you, let's just say, pour passion on the fire, well, you'll know. You'll just know. So I feel like it's saying be okay with starting, right? Taking a step in, kind of like the fool, taking that leap of faith. But this is telling me that a leap of faith is being taken and it's mirroring you, but with destiny in between. You know, let's take a second before we move on and let's just talk about this other person for a second. So number one, I feel like this person, mm, I feel like they may have had three, let's say, serious relationships. One could have been a marriage. I don't feel like three marriages. I feel like three, you know, committed relationships. I don't feel like they worked out. And I don't feel like this person felt free to be who they truly are. And you may have felt the same way because, you're going to find that there's going to be a lot of similarities. They don't have to be exact. Like sometimes you'll find, like, when, let's say, your child was having a birth, that they were experiencing a death. You know what I mean? So the similarities can be different, but it's like those the pinnacle times in our lives. So, anyways, I definitely feel that. And I feel like this person, um, I feel like they had to do some inner work. They had to look within, but I feel like they do. And I get this sense, especially with God and Jesus both out, I get this sense that the way that you're going to connect, I just feel like it's going to be undeniable. And I feel like it's going to be soon. Well, how soon? I feel like the Eight of Cups speaks a lot about that. Eight of Cups is, again, emotional. They call it emotional withdrawal, but the person in the Eight of Cups is moving towards the Nine of Cups. They're seeking inner harmony. And what a great time to fall in love when you yourself have inner harmony and they have inner harmony. And whatever is still broken, I'm not even worried about it because you will heal each other. But you'll also recognize those parts of someone and they you, where again, other people may have like put you down, um, told you that, whatever, anything negative. And you may have bought it, but you're not buying it anymore. And neither are they. These two fives, I feel like, are speaking. This Five of Pentacles, I feel like, is speaking to you. This Five of Cups, I feel like, is your soulmate. So I feel like you have gone through a change, and it is of an emotional nature, but then again, healing. And they also, listen, their emotional change, though, is they're seeking better. They're seeking they're seeking true love. All right. So divine's energy that is supporting this union. Six of Cups, nostalgia. Sitting right next to the wheel. I mean, now, for some of you, this could be someone from back in the day, but this would be someone that you would have happy memories of. Doesn't have to mean you're in a relationship with them. Could be an old friend that reaches out of the blue. Another feeling of past lives, present life. We have, interesting, the Five of Cups. And then we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so for those who um, know this person, and you would, and how do I know? Like some of you may be saying, how do I know that I know this person? Your mind went right to it. Your thoughts went right to them. I find it interesting that we have two Five of Cups. So the similarities are even greater now. And then it is above the Six of Cups. Treasured memories. Listen, if you haven't loved in this lifetime, when you come together and as conversation really starts, rolling, I have a feeling you're going to like rediscover. Then we have the Nine of Wands. Remember, this is divine's energy that's supporting this. So the Nine of Wands, it asks you to remind yourself of everything you've been through, everything you've gone through, but really looking at it from a different point of view, looking at it as the accomplishments, even the difficult things, but you still got through them. This is about reflection, but it really wants you, or divine wants you to really be proud of who you are today. This is exactly why you are who you are today. So these wands behind this person has been an adventure, an experience, challenge. But this person is sitting here. I call this person my spirit warrior. Because first of all, I feel like it's bold to be able to look back. And I do feel like it's a necessity. Like we have to know ourselves. We have to know our own history. Especially those who seem to find themselves on a repeat pattern, like I keep attracting the same type of person. Well, then I got to look again at my energy. Why? Am I just accepting versus expecting? And what I mean by that is my self-respect intact? I feel like as we grow, like how we loved like in, let's say, our 20s and how we love in our 50s, it's different, right? And I know this from my own experiences. I think back and I think if someone like, let's say my ex-husband, for an example, would enter my life now, would I move forward? And the answer is no, because now I can read the energy. So definitely be proud of who you are. Know that you deserve these blessings, but also understand that, you know, if you look at this as, or let's put it a different way, if we remember that we're spiritual beings, first and foremost, spiritual, and our spirit is the intellect to our soul, and we're on this soul's journey, then we're learning. We came into this lifetime to learn, to grow, to have adventures. Not all of them are going to pay off, but each thing probably taught you something on a soul level. And that's what this is reading like two people who found themselves in not such great places, but how they worked it out within themselves. And I feel like that is a sign to divine that you are now ready. Let's go back to the chariot, right? Having that true balance. This is not your first time. This is not, I have a feeling, for some reason that X is standing out. 10. Some of you, I feel you might have had 10 lives together. Now, you could have came into every lifetime together, but had different goals. Not every lifetime do we say, okay, I want this just to be about, you know, us two soulmates finding each other? Sometimes we come in here, and that's what the different life paths are about. Like a life path 8 is all about the material world. And that's not a bad thing. That's what they're here to master. That's why you should know what your life path number is and your personal year. And I want to remind you, and soon I won't have to remind you of this, but we're in the year of the Hermit. It is the last year of a 9-year cycle. I do want to ask myself, what do I want my next 9 years to look like? Here is a 9. Here is the wheel, the star, healing. The Fool means you really are leaving the past in the past. Even if you know who this person is, let's say that you did have a relationship back in the day. And I cannot leave that off the table because that's my life. So to say that it doesn't happen, it happens all the time. I know that. It happens all the time. And you know what I find is interesting? As I'm doing this series about soulmates, I'm finding a lot of comments where I remember old comments where they would say, I'm not interested in love or it's not going to happen. And now I'm getting comments where out of the blue, someone reached out, like out of the blue, unexpectedly. And that is how love happens. So I feel like first of all, I don't know why you'd be here if you're not interested in love, but if you are, think about where your own energy is at today, because you'll be guided. That's the thing. You'll be guided. But then you need to take the action steps. And it's only the Two of Wands. So it's only asking you to merely step upon the path. If for whatever reason you find, okay, I don't want this, you can always change course. You can always take a different path. Your guides will support you no matter what path you choose. And it is your choice. And sometimes I do feel that, and I feel like this is fun. Like two souls who planted that seed before they came into this lifetime of coming together in the adventure of, can we find each other? And then we're born with amnesia. That's why the energy is going to help direct you. Okay. So now I want to look at the major arcanas that's connecting the two of you, and I am going to shuffle for these. You know, I'm always trying to be very careful not to give anyone false hope. Um, and I want to say the best way you can secure, let's say, your future is by clearing the past. So if you're in the present moment, and let's say you do have this inner harmony, it doesn't mean everything in your life is going perfect. It just means you have found inner harmony. That alone to me is a sign to the universe. If these soulmates were predestined, that it makes sense that it would follow after the Eight of Cups. I feel like neither one of you um, have found, again, I feel like you've been in love, but I don't feel like either one of you have had complete fulfillment. And that means that, this reading is saying there's no need for you to change who you are. If you can make things better, certainly do that. But this is really speaking to the celebration of the individuality. Maybe in past relationships, I had to wear a mask. I had to pretend I was someone that I wasn't. I just realized 5 and 6, 11. And the reason why I say that, to me, 11 can certainly signify twin flame. All right, let's see what we have here. Hello, world. Hello, new beginning. And this is the Fool in the middle of the portal. When you see the world, it definitely means something has come to completion. Something new is opening up. This is perfect. The Magician. Interesting, because in 2026, we're moving into the energy of the Magician. I feel like what this is saying, that you're moving into 2026 together. The world is mirroring right now the Three of Cups. Joy, celebration. Truly nothing to fear here. This should make you feel joyous. It may make you feel kid-like. You know what I mean? Like giggles but I find that, I don't know. I like that. Like it's bringing out your inner child. By the way, the Magician mirroring the Three of Pentacles, also perfect. Where it does speak about your individuality. It is like someone is, because this is the manifester, the Magician, and the Fool's greatest mentor. The Magician teaches the Fool that you possess everything you need to be successful. Especially after this completion. Well, 2 5s in this row. So I have a feeling, for some, it's probably a relationship that has now ended. And let me just say that sometimes, how do I say this? Sometimes we feel this resistance. Like let's say I'm in a relationship that I just know is not going to go anywhere. This person is not respecting me, right? They're not giving me the love that I deserve. But I have to know that. And I feel this is talking about you and them raising your vibrations. And once that happens, you should never lower your vibration to be with another. Nor do I feel like you're going to have to. I feel like you did, but who hasn't? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that with any judgment whatsoever, because who hasn't? Okay? We got 2, but I'm going to take them. Oh my God. Aquarius. I have to tell you, I'm going to make up a number, but this is what I'm feeling in my soul. Of all the readings that I've done, and again, I've been reading forever. I've been doing personal readings longer than I've been on YouTube. Very seldom. Maybe 15%. Let's say 11%. Do the Emperor and the Empress come out together? I also want to remind you that this is what's connecting the two of you. I mean, this is beautiful. The Empress. Number one, let's stop for a second and talk about each of them in the energy they're in. So each of them lives in the present moment. The Empress is the mother figure, right? The feminine. She's the nurturer. Um, Definitely creative. They both are. They both care about their fellow man and woman. This is giving you some clues. This is tremendous growth. And both of these energies are energies that we can look up to. So whoever, whether you're the emperor or the empress, it's like, I don't know, it just feels so special. It just feels so special. So I do feel like there have been a lot of lessons because the emperor and the empress, that's exactly how they became who they are. It's the things that I've overcome, but not held on to. The empress loves love, but she's of a high vibration. So she's nobody's fool. It's like what I was just saying with like my 20-year-old self. Would I take that energy? Would I accept that lower vibrational energy? No. And I'm only saying that me using myself as an example because I feel it's you. Now, both of these people love helping their fellow man or woman. They love giving a hand up, not a hand out, a hand up. They want to help others to evolve, to experience what they're experiencing. Look at the bounty on the Empress's lap. They're different, but the same. The Emperor is more methodical, is more comfortable like putting plans in place, where the Empress is more comfortable going by the seat of her pants. You know, each of them are receiving epiphanies all the time, and they've learned to listen. Like, there's an image, I can't remember what deck it is, but there's like an apple about to hit the Empress on the head from an apple tree. And to me, it's like, oh, an idea. Oh, an epiphany. Wow, wow, wow. It's like both of you, and you may not even know it, both of you actively manifesting. I am thrilled that the Empress and the Emperor just came out. I am thrilled. And to have the wheel, your destiny, also here. Wow. The world saying certain things have come to completion. This is why we're seeing these fives. We're either going to go, make the changes necessary, or we don't. I don't know how else to say that. Let's look at the bottom of the decks. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. The Queen of Pentacles, I call my psychic detective. Hello, soulmates. Mirroring the magician. Right next to the Three of Pentacles. I mean, not only did your major arcana show up, not only did your wheel, your destiny show up, not only did the Emperor and the Empress show up, but now the soulmates. And listen, I don't need to see the soulmates to know that. But boy, am I happy it just came out. I'm happy so you can see it. All right. Eight of Wands. Fast moving energy. Fast moving energy. You know, to me, this is also like the law of attraction. What I think about, I bring about. No wonder with the world, it needs completion, right? It needs to allow the past to come to completion so that this new door can open up. You know, these fives, spirit can't make you make changes, but they can put a lot of resistance. So if you're feeling like all this resistance, but you're not sure why, you might want to ask your spirit guides, like, what are you trying to tell me? They'll answer you. You know, I'm just going to give you, like, some people just don't believe that. So I'm going to give you a little example. My boyfriend's been going through like a lot of pain, and, you know, it kills me inside. So I said to my spirit guides, I actually said to God, I said, can you please put the solution in front of me? Show me. And as soon as I said that, Sam walks into the room. He's carrying 3 bottles of water with him. And I've been telling him forever, like, drinking bottled water, especially cheap bottled water, there are microplastics in that. I've done a lot of research on this. But anyways, long story short, so so I see those bottles, and right away I know. Right away I know the answer. I know that that's what my guides are trying to tell me. So of course I tell Sam, and he's like, no, 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 no. But anyway, he was having so much pain yesterday that we went to the hospital, went to the emergency room, and we went for one reason, but then it turned out that he had very low sodium levels, and low sodium levels can cause, number one, seizures, permanent brain damage, and so on and so forth. And I found it so interesting because when the doctor came in, I said, can you do a blood test on, like, you know, is there microplastics or whatever, or arsenic, you know, all the crap that's in the water? Can you test that? And he's like, well, I can, but anyways, long story short, he came back with the blood results, and the doctor said to Sam, he said, your sodium levels are dangerously low. And Sam said, what caused that? And he's like, well, I don't know. I want to ask you a few questions. And I stood up from my chair and I said, I know what's causing that. And the doctor says, what? And I said, he's drinking a case of water a day. He cannot quench his thirst. And that could be diabetes, I know, but he doesn't have diabetes. It was the water. And now, so we're home today. They got his sodium levels up. He had to spend the night. And now I told him, I said, I see you with a bottle of water. I'm going to grab it out of your hands. So the reason why I'm telling you this story is I asked God to put the solution right in front of me. or the issue. Put it right in front of me so I cannot deny it. And then I'm telling you, he came in the room, is like 3 bottles, and I knew instantly. So I'm telling you that because that's how involved our guides are. Ask them questions, they will answer. Just have an open mind. And by the way, if you feel like you're uncertain, like was this a sign, and you're not sure, ask them to send it again. Like seriously, I talk to my guides, well, all day long, all the time. So, sorry to keep talking about myself, but I just keep seeing it um in here. Our soulmates, the Empress and the Emperor, starting this new chapter together. Both seem to be manifesting. Again, that's why I asked on a subconscious level. Now, on a subconscious level means the human part of us might not know, but your soul knows. Wow. I'm so glad you guys reached out because I feel like this is the best one yet. Sorry, everyone, before. Not that they weren't good, don't get me wrong. But to me, this seems very clear. Okay. Um, so I have the romance angels, but I'm not going to use them yet because I'm going to take the cosmic tarot. And I just want to look at a couple things. You know, uh, this is going to be hard to do, but I'm going to try to do it. Actually. Oh, look at that. I just want you to see it better. These two go together like peanut butter and jelly. Okay. Okay. Uh, you know, it's like I want to stand this one up, but I didn't think it was going to stay. I want you to see that. All right, we'll see how long it stands up. But all right, I'm going to take the cosmic tarot. And I'm just going to look at a couple things. I'm not going to clarify everything because these readings are not meant to be super long like your monthlies are. Boy, I don't even know. I don't even know what I want to clarify. I guess let's go back to the first line. Let's look at the Five of Cups with the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. Ten of Swords, though it did show in reverse. Well, there's your repeat pattern. That's what I often feel. I hate this image. I do. I just hate this image. I was going to take it out of the deck, but then I thought, well, I can't really do that. Um, but I often feel in the ten of swords. I don't know if I just said pentacles. I meant swords. I often find that this is a repeat pattern. So again, I could have been attracted to a certain type of energy, but as I evolve, so does my love. So does my life. Not just love, everything. But this is the realization of that. That's why we have the Five of Cups. That's why the soulmates are sitting right behind this person when they're ready to make that change. That's why the soulmates actually came out. Put it right there. All right. So, anyways, reversed. I love that. Someone's having that realization. They're looking at their own energy. It's not about putting blame, even if someone deserves it, but, you know, it's just about how do I make my life better? This is someone who has become submissive to these daggers because it really is dagger after dagger. And they've had enough. But it doesn't change until their energy changes. So I know their energy is changing. And if that means that they're moving out of the Five of Cups, or another way of saying that they're changing their focus from what was to what can be. All right, I like that. So you know what? Let's go up to this Five of Cups, who I feel is you. Now you could be either one, by the way. Hello, Fool. So there you are, making that change, right? Or let's just say, willing to take a leap of faith. You know, the thing about this type of love that I am looking for in this reading is there really is no reason to be fearful. And if there is fear, there can be butterflies, don't get me wrong, but like the fear of just love. Well, that's what the Four of Swords is here for. Now, the Fool is also representing your present moment. So keep that in mind, because this means that the signs will be sent to you. We have the Five of Pentacles. We have the King of Wands. And we have the Prince of Swords. Interesting. King of Wands can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But it doesn't have to be. I'll tell you what I'm feeling, though. I feel like for some of you, you were in a relationship where I don't feel like someone was showing you the love that you deserve. Now, maybe they were just incapable. I feel like this person had gone through a relationship where communication was terrible. And I feel like you may have gone through something very similar here. But I also feel this page, or this prince, which is a page, and the page talks about what's in the atmosphere. So, Page of Swords, communication. Just so happens that it's also touching the Six of Cups. And that's why I feel some of you may know who this is already. They're in your lifetime. You've met them in this lifetime. Again, doesn't have to mean you had a relationship. There could just be communication that comes out of the blue. Or a communication that just opens up out of the blue. That's the way I was meant to say it. So to me, that makes me think I could be at the grocery store and someone's in line with me. Not with me, but they're like behind me or in front of me, and we start talking. And as we're talking, there's this feeling that starts to arise. Not sure anybody would say anything at that point, but what I do feel is someone would ask for someone else's number. Like, hey, do you mind if I call you sometime? No, No, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. All right. I want to. Okay. That came out quick. The Empress. And what I was going to say is I want to go a little further here. So the Empress, here is our Empress, and the Nine of Swords. I can tell you the Nine of Swords and the Empress don't go together. This is worry, but it's unnecessary worry. I could see for a moment like being taken back and, again, saying no, no, you can't have my number. But I feel like if you do that, you'll regret that. Like, I feel like for those who say no, you go home and you're like, why the hell didn't I give that person my number? And then you end up going back to the grocery store just hoping to meet again. But let me tell you, because I feel like this is destined, then you will meet again. But the Nine of Swords should also be a sense of comfort because it's telling you there is nothing here to worry about. And if there's a worrying going on, it's from your thought system. And our thoughts can lie to us. If I didn't clear the past, yes, it makes everything more difficult as new things open up. But if I have cleared the past and I myself have raised my vibration, it just makes sense that what comes in would also be of that vibration. So, no worry is needed. Take that chance. Give that telephone number. Or, however that conversation goes. But I do feel ultimately, and all of a sudden, I'm getting this image of the two of you leaving the grocery store and going out for a cup of coffee. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Now, it may not be a grocery store. It could be anywhere that I feel like, you're kind of stuck, like you're in line and you have to stay in line to check out your groceries, or you're at the coffee shop and you're ordering a coffee. And then this person comes up and orders a coffee. And then you sit together, you know? Like, I feel like the possibilities are endless. And it is going to be different for different people. Um, but it is starting at the beginning. But then I feel like, even though I say take it slow, I feel like it's going to be hard to take it slow. I feel like maybe the hardest thing, and I'm hoping it won't even be hard, but I feel at this moment, for some, the hardest thing may be giving it a chance. It is showing itself, and it's showing itself in the highest of light. And it is telling you, the Emperor and the Empress mirroring the world. Wow. It's almost like, yes, you go out for that cup of coffee and then it just never stops. You just continue to talk and see each other and date to the point where you ultimately come to this commitment. Like, I have no doubt in that. It's just, I know it's going to be different for different people, but I have no doubt. I just have no doubt. All right, I'm going to pick this up. And I don't know. Let's just look at the wheel. I feel like the rest is pretty understandable. So let's ask our guides with the wheel, relating to the wheel, and this love. Any other messages or support to help us feel comfortable in this? And this is to our spirit guides. The Hermit. First thing I feel It's your spirit guide saying you're a wise old soul. You have been here before. You've done this before. You've loved before. This is the wisdom of this lifetime and every lifetime. Now, you may not remember every lifetime. I mean, very few do. But you'll feel it. You'll feel it. And some of you, I feel like you will. Like, I feel like there's a chance that you will start to remember these past lives, like actual, not just saying that we have past lives, but I feel like you'll somehow be able to figure out what went on in a past life. And when I am done with this series, I am doing a past life reading. Like, honestly, I can't wait to do it. And I keep saying that, but I feel like I want to do these first and then do the past life. We're also in the year of the Hermit. You know, the Hermit really talks about a period of time where, we might have gotten knocked down to our knees. It talks about going through that dark night of the soul. But what we're doing in this energy is we're really seeking the light. And that's all you have to do is seek it, and it shall find you. So this is about coming out the other end. And, the Emperor and the Empress here, who I feel like are natural healers, and they want to help others. It's just in their bones. This makes complete sense. I also feel like it's telling you this is 2025. This is the year of the Hermit. Now, also card of Virgo. I should put that out there. Interesting. King of Pentacles. Funny, I just said Virgo. Though, I'm not going to say it has to be a Virgo. So let's talk about this King of Pentacles. First of all, it can be Virgo. I was going to say Cancer, but not Cancer. Though we do have Cancer on the board. Taurus or Capricorn. This is someone, when they look at life or a situation, they're able to see the big picture. We have the Queen of Pentacles right here. And now we have the King of Pentacles. And although you're not Earth, though you may have Earth in your chart, kind of forget about that. I feel like it's talking more about the type of person. So when I think of the King of Pentacles in the upright, I think of loyalty. I think stability. I mean, I am with the King of Pentacles. I feel someone who, I'm not going to say rich, but someone who, how do I say this? Has their shit together. Like they earn a living. This is not someone comes in and has no money and is like, gimme, gimme, gimme. It's the opposite of that. That could have been the old. And I just love his smile. Just love it. Okay. Listen, I get that it's hard to love again if someone has cheated on you. I get that. But I want you to understand that that's their lower vibrational energy. And literally, we have to make a decision. Now, I'm not saying that you can't overcome that. I feel like anything can be overcome. But is it meant to be? Is that the way you want it? Six of Pentacles. Give and take. Give and take. Chances are, because we have the Five of Pentacles here, that hasn't always been the case in your life. This is definitely the energy of compassion and empathy, which both the Emperor and the Empress carry. This is the energy of giving and receiving equally, and how important that is. Some of you could have been, a giver, where you gave and you gave and you gave, but you weren't receiving back what you deserved. That could be where you felt resistance. And that may mean that that was just meant to come to completion. If you're giving and someone's not giving back to you, in a way, I feel like that is your answer. Look at the moon cycles. All right, anything else want to come out? Come on out. So I love that we have the King and Queen of Pentacles, the Empress and the Emperor, two Fools, Healing, the Magician, and literally the next chapter, which is your destiny, your major arcana right above it. Death. Now, it should say death/rebirth. Number one, it is a card of Scorpio, but it's a card of endings. And then a rebirth. It makes perfect sense if you've lived past lives together. I feel like it's just one more message that's showing us that this is not your first time around together. And, when I see the Emperor and the Empress, I don't know why my mind thinks this, but I often feel, okay, well, chances are this is going to be the last time that we decide to reincarnate, to have, like when we leave this world, we may not come back. But in the Emperor and the Empress's energy, it's like, how we opened up the reading where I said I felt like we're mastering. Well, that's exactly what they've done. I'm not saying that there's not still more to learn. I'm not saying they're perfect, because nobody's perfect. We're born imperfect. But what I am saying is they are meant to be together. They're meant to be together. I even love their energy in collaborating together, like creating a business, feeding ideas off each other, like-minded. But when I say like-minded, it doesn't mean we're exactly the same, because really they're opposites, but they complete each other. So, death/rebirth. It's like your guides just want you to know that. Okay. Let's let that be. Oh, look, it just knocked everything over when I said that. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. We're not quite done. All right. I do want to bring out the romance angels, even though we see the soulmates. How did everything get? So let's just take the romance angels over this reading, and then I'm going to let that be. When I say who, when, and how, I want you to understand that the who, I'm giving you the energy of the person. The when seems like it's very soon. And I'm only interested in 2025. But I feel like what this is saying is it starts in 2025, but then it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. No beginning, no end. As above, so below. Well, hello. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. In your present moments. As you release. And that's exactly what's happening in these fives. And heal the past. Here's the Four of Swords. Connected to the Eight of Cups, which is all about the past. You experience more love. Hello, Emperor and Empress, in your present moment. Why am I reading that so slow? It's like I want you to hear every word. Forgiving and learning. Now, the forgiving part of it doesn't mean I have to pick up the phone and call someone and tell them, I forgive you. No. I mean, if you want to. But it's about not carrying the weight of it anymore. It's forgiving within your heart. First, it's the understanding. I feel like for some of you, like sometimes, not everyone is worried about like where their energy level is at. Some people don't even think that way. I mean, I feel like the first half of my life, I probably didn't think that way. Second half of my life, it's all about it. It's all about energy. And when you release the past, man, it just lets you love unencumbered, free. It lets you have these adventures. Healing family issues. Interesting. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Huh. You know, man, I hate to talk about myself, but I know what this is saying because my parents, they fought and they fought hard. And my dad, even though I was a daddy's girl, um, he was a cheater. I mean, when I was an adult, I found out I have a half sister and a half brother, and who knows who else is out there. Um, and even though I was a daddy's girl, boy, I did not like that. Like, I used to tell myself, I don't want that in my life. And what do? Well, I've only been married once, I got married at 19, way too early. Um, but I married someone who turned out to be like a serial cheater. So that's why healing these family issues may be that important. All right. Seems to be a lot that's talking about forgiving, learning, healing. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Aquarius. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Passion. Undeniable. I already know it. I already feel it. Even just through conversation, the passion comes through. I feel it. I feel it. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. The second card that came out, joy, rejoicing and celebration. Even if it seems scary at first, you're going to feel this energy. I am not saying that who I'm talking about, that you nor them are perfect. So don't even look for that, because we were made imperfect. Why? Because this is our journey. Learn. I mean, if we were perfect, what do we need to learn? Right? This is definitely, it's like the steps to get you to this great love. And then the allowing of it. Not telling you, you got to make that commitment. It's just saying, enjoy it. Allow the joy to come out. Feel it. Don't deny it unless you want to. But it says great love. Well, I would expect nothing less. What a reading, Aquarius. What a reading. You know, and I know some of you are guided here, so I already know that I'm going to give you a number again. I feel like 20% of you are not Aquariuses, but you found yourself here. So understand that. If you found yourself here, then your guides probably put this in front of you, just how they put that water in front of me for Sam. Okay. I think I'm just going to let that be. Man, I have to say, just in this reading, and I know there's years in between these 5 of Cups and these 5 of Pentacles, but the growth from the challenges is what's really leading you to this ultimate love. And you know what? Let's be honest. We do have to learn how to love. That's just part of our journey, how to love unencumbered. But we do need that right partner. Soulmates, the Emperor and the Empress. I honestly couldn't have asked for more. The star connected to your will, your major arcana connected to your destiny. So it's like if you had doubt, Spirit wants you to see it. You know, the last thing I'm going to say is the ball will be put in your court. You can say yay, you can say nay. But if you say no, then I feel like chances are past energy hasn't been cleared yet. Because I feel that you will feel the difference pretty quickly, if not immediately. Just allow that little spark and then watch the flame grow and grow and grow. Wow. All right, Aquarius. I love you guys. I loved your reading. You know, I didn't love the part. I mean, I don't love that you had to go through this and go through that, but this is life, right? And we have to learn that. Like completions are meant to happen. And examples, like if you kept every piece of clothing you've ever owned since you were an infant and you tried to put it in your closet, well, in a way, that's sending a sign to the universe that my closet is full. There's no room for anything new. But then I decide to clean out that closet. Well, that's a sign that I am now welcoming something new. That's just an analogy, but all right, I'm going to stop talking. I thank you. I love you. I hope you can find yourself in this reading. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes it does take watching it more than one time. And it's not because I want an extra view. They don't even count that. If someone watches a video twice, they don't count that as, you know, for your statistics as another view. But what I find is a lot of times we watch a reading with our human ears and, it makes sense, but let's say we're still in the fives, but I know I want better. Then this is the opportunity. I forget what I was talking about, to be honest, so I'm just going to let that be. But how do I love God? Jesus came out, very first cards, all talking about your individuality, being who you are. I mean, I feel this sense of proudness, the evolution of you. And don't forget, like in the Two of Wands, yes, this may be predestined for some, but you're still writing this story as you go along. How do you want your love story to look? Your love movie. Do you want to be, yeah, okay, it's a movie where someone gets stuck and stays stuck. Well, how long am I going to watch that movie? This is real life, the highs and the lows. And I feel like the lows is definitely showing us you've been there. But here comes the highs. And I'm still talking. Love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Can't wait to hear your comments. Can't wait. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.